What's up? We gonna get to this back?
Yeah. Everybody's standing around hugging on each other. About 45 minutes. Now I'm stuck. Huh. What a fucking trip.
How was the trip?
Oh, 4 hours of fucking misery.
Really? Plane ride from hell.
Jam-packed. I was squished over in a window seat.
Huh.
I slept like crazy.
That's good. You've worked for this guy before, right?
Joe Panzarino?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's okay. That's we had. I worked for Johnny Rods a couple weeks ago over at a show in Pennsylvania.
Right.
And I guess Kowalski had fallen or tripped and broke his ankle or something.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And he couldn't get over to do this one autograph signing or something a couple weeks ago for their show. They called to try to get me on it. And I couldn't get loose from the Johnny Rod show to get over to do it. Anyway, they were talking back and forth, and the guy, Joe Panzarino, calls me. He says, "This guy's really twisting my balls. He's a real ball twister." So I named my whole fall tour. It is a XXX rated ball twisting tour. I like to give them names, you know. I had the last, what was it, one in the spring? Yeah, it was a XXX rated wet t-shirt, Jake's crack pipe on a pole tour. So how's everything with you guys?
Good. Good. Busy.
Good.
Good for you.
You had to make a stop?
No, I took a quick piss in there real fast, and I don't know, maybe a cup of coffee somewhere to take with me.
All right.
I bought these. I buy these little. You get about 100 of them. You know that store Price Club or Costco?
Yeah.
Anyway, they're little sleep aids. You take like little sleeping pills,
Right.
and I took, you know, sometimes like this short flight, 4 hours. take a half one. The fucking thing knocks you right out. When I go to Amsterdam in 2 weeks, I'll take a whole one going over. Boom.
Wake up.
A couple shots of vodka. Yeah. Well, I didn't have any vodka this morning. How's the weather been?
It's good. It's like 90.
Hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a heat wave here.
Yeah, you guys know what hot is.
Down there it's probably really hot, but at least it's dry in Arizona.
Do you have like forest fires out there, they said?
It's been pretty bad this year, yeah. I mean, you know, it just gets so hot you just can't get out in the heat. You just stay in. That's all.
Yeah, the ride's probably like an hour. What is it? An hour and a half?
Yeah, probably about an hour and 15 maybe.
Over to Wildwood.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
There's no big rush then,
Right.
because we don't have to get over there till sometime around 5:30 or 5 or something. How about those Hebner boys?
Oh yeah, ain't that
Dave
crazy?
and Earl Hebner.
Yeah, that's
Heavy
crazy.
t-shirts?
Were they fencing t-shirts?
I heard what they were doing is, I think it was Dave. He would comp them out to people, and he would take the comps instead of comping them out to people, he'd sell them.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been going on for years.
Oh yeah, everybody knew about it. It's just,
Well, I was talking to one of my friends that worked in the PR department up there a few years ago. He works with NASCAR, with Seagram's now.
right.
That says a sponsor with NASCAR. He still lives up in Connecticut. He doesn't keep up with the wrestling too much, but it's like he said, you don't have to have a reason to be fired from that company.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You know, because anytime they want to get rid of you, they find something.
Right.
I mean, the Hebner's been there 21 years.
Yeah, right when NWA went. It's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, gosh, to be fencing t-shirts, if that's what they were doing.
Where are you staying after the show tonight?
Of all names, being in the business we're in, Carney's Point.
Okay, I don't know where that is.
A Carney staying in Carney.
That's awesome.
How about that?
Yeah, I got a ton of questions. Whenever you if you want to get coffee first, then I'll start asking away.
Yeah, we'll stop up here.
Oh, yeah?
After the bridge.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I got to try to wake up. See, and this is what it gets me, too. So these guys, I didn't tell them. They probably would have if I'd asked them. I just didn't think about it. Usually I tell these guys I need to come a day early.
Right.
It's
Right.
3-hour time change. It's 11:30 at home.
Right.
It's
You
tired.
know? And then when it's all over tonight at 9 o'clock or so, it's at 6 o'clock at home.
Right.
So it kind of messes me up. I usually like to come a day early. That's what I do on this Amsterdam trip. I'm going to go in a day early.
Who's that for? Just
Local guys over there. I went last year when they first started their promotion.
How many shows?
Just the one.
Yeah.
They will run one show in Rotterdam. It'll do okay for them. They had a show planned for, when was I in Austria? About 3 months ago. And they kept playing around and they wouldn't get back to me on the tickets, so that the guy from Switzerland and Austria could split the tickets. You know how we
Right.
do the split? And finally they said, "Oh, we think we're going to go with Jim the Anvil Neihart." And I said, "Well, I wish you all the best with Jim, and I hope everything works out." I said, "If anything changes, I'll be in Austria, and I could just catch a train or a plane and stay over 4 days and then work their show." Anyway, I get back home and they're calling. I guess Anvil was having some problems, he said, with his passport, and he didn't get on the plane that day. And I guess yeah, and we sent him half the money in the plane ticket. We haven't talked to him. I said, "Well, I wished you the best. What can I say?" But I couldn't turn around and go back. I was already home.
What's Amsterdam like? Is it cool?
Yeah, it's okay. I was there both times I've been. It's going to be like September, so the weather was just, fairly nice, like here. Now I've got 2 days off this trip, so I'm going to actually get downtown.
The red light district. I think?
Yeah. I want to go. I like to check out the fruits of the land
Exactly.
when I'm there. I like to know what else is going on in the world. I don't want to just hear about it. Travolta said in Pulp Fiction they put mayonnaise on French fries there in Amsterdam, and they do.
Wow.
Yeah. But mind you, the Canadians put brown gravy on French fries. So
I put ketchup on chicken.
there you go. We all got our little things we do.
Exactly.
Holy shit.
Have you been watching the business as of late?
Not too
No.
much, no. No, because I'm not. I don't particularly care about the Shawn Michaels, "Oh brother, where art thou? Praise the Lord" bullshit, and he's kind of been hypocritical on a lot of things. I won't be a bad guy. I'm not going to turn heel because of my religious convictions now. What does he do? He sees a paycheck with Hogan. Sure, he's going to turn heel.
Yep. What do you think of that program?
It's okay. It's it's old school type deal. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
See Hogan's show?
Is that a crock of shit?
It's total work.
Yeah, everything is.
Oh yeah.
It's so scripted. It's not even. I tell somebody, once you can't. There's certain things you can't follow, and Ozzy, the Osbourne thing was so real, and it really was the way these
Right.
people were, that you can't overcome that. And Hogan's trying to be, Hogan, and you can tell it's scripted.
Did you see the
just
time
tell
they put
it's
the
scripted.
spy thing on his daughter's car?
Oh, I'd see.
Why would he need to do that if there's a camera crew with her the whole time? How's he gonna?
Yeah. So and it's just it's so fake and phony. I can't believe they picked it up for another season. I don't know
did it?
why.
Wow.
Yeah, it got picked up again. I figured they dumped that thing after about six weeks.
Huh.
He got picked up again. It's all about trying to get his daughter in the music business.
Yep.
And believe me, Hogan's got a lot of money. He's got a big name. But unless you can sell records, you don't get in the music business.
I think the last time we talked to you, we were talking about Randy Orton and his title win that pretty much ended really quick when Triple H came back.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I kind of predicted that, I think.
Yep.
I think I said it wasn't going to be that long. And the sad thing was they called me up to come and do the squash job,
I think they brought Jake in. Right?
$500 payday. Yeah, Jake came in and had his best Sunday shirt on. I heard he got a decent payday, though.
Now they're
for
doing
that.
DVD too with him, I think.
Yeah, he signed up on that deal that I didn't sign on.
Did you get any royalties at all for that other DVD they just did, the Superstars of the 80s? I think you're on it.
No, I haven't yet. they had the best of the Intercontinental matches. They were mad at me and they left me off of those. So.
Wow.
Yeah. I guess they'd gotten back to the answer we gave them for the DVD classic doll toy figurine they were going to produce. A lot of these guys signed up on it.
Right.
First of all, the Jax people were signing guys, and they were signing for $5,000 and like 10% royalties or something. I don't know what it was. And some of the guys jumped on that deal with Jax Toys. Mike Mann, I guess, said, well, gosh, if they're going to sign these guys, I might as well do it myself. So he sent out a contract then. 10,000. 17 pages or something. Yeah, and buried in that contract was, at the end of the term, when the term was 5 years, at the end of the term, they owned all the rights to the name again. So I guess for 10 grand, I could have just said, sure.
Right.
And then it also buried in there when...
You were doing the name Honky Tonk.
Yeah, and any bookings you have to go be cleared through them.
Wow.
Any appearances you make have to be cleared through them. I went through that with them guys before, you know. It was okay for a while, and then maybe, you know, like you called me up and said you want to do this thing. And,
right.
And then I'd say, well, I got to clear it with Jim Ross. So I faxed over my dates to Jim Ross. And in the beginning, he'd write me back right away. Sure, you can go do that. Then it got to the point where it went on for 3, 4, 5 weeks. You know, and you're on the phone screaming. You got to put posters out. You got to do your advertising.
Right.
So I finally just said the heck with it, and I asked to be released from that nonsense. And then they sent out this 17 pages. Anyway, I gave it to my friend in Detroit who does some legal work for me. He reduced it down to 1 paragraph. And we said we will take $25,000. We don't want any royalties. And we keep the name.
Good.
For the doll or for the DVD or whatever they want to do. How are you going to count the royalties? Demolition Act's already found out in his court case with them guys. There was not the up and up on the royalties.
Huh.
How about that?
Were you friends with Boss Man at all?
You know, in the beginning, I would say we were just business associates, I guess. And then when I went over to the WCW and he was there, I didn't see that much of him because he wasn't around that often. And then he was back in the WWF and I wasn't with him there. So I had grown totally away from, hadn't seen the guy in a long time when I found out what happened to him.
Yeah, it's sad.
It was quite a shock. I didn't know he was, probably did as much out of the ring activities with things that I was out of the loop on it. I'd asked a promoter and had used him in Ohio about a month before he passed away. I said, how was he? He said, well, he was asleep in the locker room. I said, that tells me right there.
Yeah. Why do you think no federal authorities ever investigated wrestlers' death and stuff like that? Since there's more wrestling deaths than any other sport.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, we got more guys falling dead every day than anybody else in any sport.
It's crazy.
And I don't know why they don't. I mean, well, you know, it's really... It'd be different, I guess, if we were like the baseball players and have to go up and testify in front of Congress, because that's a whole different deal. They're on a, what is it called, where the Congress is in charge of that baseball stuff a little bit. So we, you know, they don't really watch over us,
right?
Because we're non-union, we're independent contractors. And, you know, I guess they'd say, well, as many independent contractor roofer guys dies than there are wrestlers. They're just not as well known.
Huh.
I don't know what's happened to these guys.
That's crazy.
You know, a lot of it is they can't live without the spotlight. They haven't decided that you have to make changes according to what's going on in your life. And if you're not out here working 300 shows a year in the big arenas and for the big company, then you're going to have to cut back and do things different. And they haven't learned how to do that. Some of them have. Hey, when it's all over for me and the phone stops ringing, I'll just blend back in society. That's all. No big deal.
We did an interview with Billy Gunn, and we talked about the shoot interview you did before. I think it was a year ago. And he said he never knew he had heat with you or anything like that.
Well, I don't know if I wouldn't call it really heat. I don't guess it was heat. I mean, heat to me is where two guys are kind of at each other and for some reason. Yeah, anywhere's fine.
Okay.
This cop's going from there, right?
There he is.
Okay. Wasn't really heat. It was the fact that I don't think Billy understood what I had done in my career and what I could have helped him do there with that thing. And I didn't think he put out an effort on it.
Right.
From what I understand, from what he told you and his thing, that he felt like I didn't want to work with him.
Right.
I didn't have any problem working with him. I kind of figured they picked the wrong guy. It wasn't him. It was just the wrong guy and wrong timing.
Did you see the interview we did with him, or somebody told
No.
you about it?
Somebody told me.
All right, cool.
But no, I don't think there's any heat there.
Cool.
Other than the fact that he probably thinks I didn't want to work with him, and I didn't think that he was the right choice for what they were doing. So,
Gotcha.
okay, boys, let's get a hot cup of coffee. Oh. Yeah, black coffee. Yeah, one says same, yeah. 1 medium long. Extra long. Medium strong.
What do you want? Two? All right. Yeah, can I get 2 apple crumbs? And also a sprinkle?
I don't eat the sweets. Yeah, you can throw it in there, Jeff. Okay, dear.
Yeah, I told Joe that we're gonna film you before your match, talking over the match and the match itself, and afterwards and all that stuff. Stuff in the locker room. He was cool with it.
Okay. Yeah, when Sims was setting this up, I told him it's fine with me, but it's not my show. He put it with Joe.
Yeah, he said it was cool. He didn't care. I'm throwing him a bone, so.
Well, of course he doesn't care then.
Yeah, exactly. It's not much of a bone, but it's still something better than nothing. Yeah, the last time we were with you was about a year ago. It seems like yesterday.
Yeah, we will be. In fact, I'm going to stay at that Ramada again.
Oh, cool.
I'll be there Friday, Saturday night.
You got a lot of stuff out here this time?
Yeah, it picked up. Put together which thing today, and then
You want anything good?
tomorrow was rain day, so I don't have anything tomorrow.
Oh, that's good.
And then we got an autograph signing on Delaware shows on Friday night, and an autograph thing up in someplace in New Jersey on Saturday afternoon, and some show in Pennsylvania that Tom Brandy's taking me to
Okay.
on Saturday night.
So you got a lot of stuff.
I was supposed to go to this thing called Valve Fest, a bunch of bands in Ohio, over near Columbus, Ohio, for Sunday. The guys had me advertised. They didn't call until Monday to ask about the plane ticket. And I've not heard from them, so it doesn't look like I'll be going to Ohio.
Huh.
And if that's the case, then he kind of falsely put all this stuff together, which happens. They call you up, you're open for this date? Yeah, they go ahead and start advertising you,
Right.
and they never call you back. And as far as the fans are concerned, or people on the internet, or other promoters, what they do is they say, well, he didn't show up, he didn't make his plane. So now the word spreads all over the world, you no-showed somebody, which is bullshit. I only no-showed one guy.
Ricky
One
L?
guy. No. Well,
He called me.
oh, okay.
He's like, oh, I want to talk to Honky when he's in town. Huh.
What was his take on that?
I don't know. Like, I told him I was going to be with you today, a couple days ago.
Actually, I didn't no-show him. They sent nobody to pick me up.
Yeah, that's what you said on the last
Yeah.
interview.
The one The one I really did no show was that the guy that just got convicted and got the big judgment against him in California on that wrestler's death.
Oh, Roland Alexander.
Roland Alexander. Yeah. I was actually I just went and played golf. I said, fuck him. But he got me back because I went to use a ticket at the airport and he'd already canceled it. No, on this other guy from up here, though, up in Jersey, I don't know. I had to check out of the hotel at 11. You know, it was our afternoon show. I don't know why they didn't have... For some reason, he thought the guy that dropped me off the night before was going to pick me up and take me. Well, that kid wasn't even on the show. He lived somewhere in Pennsylvania. He had to leave. So it got all messed up. He had the old gray-haired Ricky the Dragon Steamboat there anyway, so...
What are your thoughts about DiBiase now being back? He's a road agent now.
Boy, oh boy. Hypocrisy. It never stops, does it?
Nope.
You know, they do their thing, I guess. I knew sooner or later McMahon was going to take him back and take some of that group back, because with their little Christian wrestling they were doing, they were giving guys a lot of work. He was running sometimes 3-4 shows a month, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you do that, that's 30-40 shows a year. And if the guys in the locker room are not making a lot of money in the WWE as we speak, and they hear that Ted DiBiase's got these Christian wrestling shows and the guys are getting $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 paydays, you know, they start thinking twice.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus all these older guys were getting a lot of work too. So that's kind of what McMahon does, I think. He's...
Even Steamboat's back now as a road agent.
Yeah. As the world turns there. Never say never in the WWE. Why they make the coffee so hot you can't drink it? I have to pour half of it. You see me pour half the coffee out?
Yeah.
Because you can't ride in the thing in the car and the coffee's full. It's so hot you can't drink it.
You think Batista's going to be the next big thing? Or you think he's going to be a flop?
Nah, I don't see anybody out there right now. There's just nobody to pick the torch up. If there was, if Batista was going to be the next big thing, he might be. I might be wrong, but from what I understand, he was a bodybuilder and just wanted to get into wrestling and told people, "Hey, I'll do anything to help me." I can't see it. I can't see it right now. He could develop, but he's not one of those breakout guys like Rocky was. You know, Rock was. We talked about this before. The kid had everything before he ever started. He was all set. I don't know that a Hogan-Austin match you're talking about, that could get a little bit of interest, but I don't know.
They never worked, did they? Yeah.
No.
Brett's coming back.
Yeah,
He
but
can't
Brett can't work though.
Nah,
It was a stroke.
Yeah, he can't wrestle anymore. Plus, I don't think he'd want to spend that time away from that little Italian girl he married. Brett says I didn't punch and kick hard enough, and my thoughts on that were this: obviously Goldberg punched and kicked hard enough that you had a stroke, put you out of the business, gave you such a concussion. Now I would have to say, Brett, who would you rather work with for the next year? Goldberg every night or me? And I don't know Goldberg. I never met him, but I guess he had a pretty hard kick to Brett's head, maybe.
What are your thoughts on Triple H? And do you think he's as bad as everyone says he is for the business?
Well, I don't know. I mean, gosh, the guy's gonna catch it. He's gonna catch a lot of flack just because he's in the family. He's married and there, and you know they're gonna protect their own. And he deserves to be the champion because he draws. He does pretty good. I don't see anything wrong with what Triple H does.
Do you think
Not
he married
really.
Steph out of love or political power?
I don't know how you marry someone out of political power. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
You know, what was he doing? Sitting at home or on the planes or in the hotel room scheming, conniving? Hell, why would he marry Steph? Why don't you just go ahead and marry Linda? Get to the real dough. But no, I don't think someone sits around and schemes and connives about, I think I'll try to marry the boss's daughter, or, you know, I just...
Yeah.
Now, can we say it's love? I don't know. Who knows? Could be. Could not be. Could be one of those arranged marriages.
You never know.
I think on the last interview, you were talking about Vince with his impacted, you know what, did you see him get hurt? What was that? The Royal Rumble?
Yeah, you know, that was one of the few shows I saw where he, I guess from what I understand, there was a problem with something going on at the finish or at the end of the match. It wasn't going the way he wanted. He goes out to the ring, and I was doing an appearance for a guy, and I had to sit and watch the show with a bunch of people. And when he came out to the ring and slid up, I saw him hit his knee. I saw his kneecap, at least the one, catch the corner of that apron. And I told the guy there, he said, "Boy, he didn't look like that felt too good." I said, "No, it didn't feel good. He's hurt." And when he rolled over to try to get up, you could just see the pain on his face. And I've had it happen to me, but not that severe. I mean, I guess he hit his leg so hard it tore the quadriceps. He was lucky to knock his kneecaps off. Because that's you you try to run and slide in the ring. If you don't have your legs just right, it can be pretty damaging. And he was damaged. I don't know who the two guys were in the ring.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Have you been watching the Diva Challenge?
No, I could care less about that. If I want to see tits and ass, I go to the strip club.
You think it's a waste of their TV to have something so long?
I think it's a lack of having anything else to put on TV.
Right.
Obviously, somebody there that's in the mix likes to have the girls there to do that kind of stuff.
The one girl, I think, was Amy Weber. She was ribbed so much by the boys that she quit.
Oh yeah, well that's normal.
They found out she was an escort, I think, in Japan or something.
I saw a clip. I didn't see it off the television. I saw it on the internet where I guess this one chick, somebody ran up and put a pie in her face.
Oh yeah.
She went fucking nuts, man.
Yeah.
And they canned her. She got kicked off the show that night.
Right.
I don't know if it had anything to do with a pie in the face, but she was ready to kick some ass.
Huh. Didn't Pat Patterson quit or something over Triple H? He had too much power, you heard?
You know, I never.
He's back now.
It was just one of those little rumors that was going around, but I don't think so. No, Pat's not the kind of guy to quit because there's not too many people in that office that have more power than Pat. You know, other than Vince.
True.
So I don't see that. No.
There's like, what are your thoughts on Ric Flair putting over Triple H? He's like putting Triple H over, like, huge. Do you think he's doing that because it's a power thing and he knows Triple H has power, or you think he really means that?
He's playing the game.
Flair knows where that bread's buttered. He knows Triple H is his friend. They tend to be tight with each other. Flair knows, his ticket is Triple H, and he's not stupid, even though he acts stupid. He's not.
You think he's fake at all, or you think he's a real person?
Flair?
Yeah.
When he shakes your hand and smiles, get ready for the knife in the back.
It's a Tennessee handshake.
Yeah, I guess that's what they call it. Could be a handshake from anywhere nowadays. This coffee's getting me to be talking faster than Jake Roberts on a crack pipe.
Did you ever read Flair's book at all, or not?
No, I've never read a wrestler's book. I think I told you that before.
Oh, that's right.
When I read the first chapter of Arn Anderson's book, I stopped at a bookstore many years ago, and he didn't say anything about Bob Armstrong pulling off his toupee. So, I mean, in an event like that, why wouldn't you mention that as when you talk about your first matches in the business?
Right.
So, no, I don't read them. Simply because they don't ever... For some reason, these wrestling books, there's not a lot of truth in there. There's a lot of made-up story. I don't know why Flair took a shot at me in that book. He took a shot at me. He said, I wouldn't have been anything if it hadn't been for Hulk Hogan. I wouldn't have drawn a dime and this and that. I've been in the business drawing all over long before I ever met Hulk Hogan. So I don't know where Flair got those numbers from.
What are your thoughts on Hogan coming back? Do you think he's just doing it for his PR, for his TV show?
I think it was a trade-off. From what I understand, when he left Madison Square Garden the last time and he wore the mask, and before. He'd go and then he would go out and he'd pull the mask up, let the people see who he was. Pull it up, let the people see who he was. And I know from some young wrestlers that were in the locker room that night that they witnessed the fact that Hogan told us his kid was with him, his son. Come on, get our stuff. Let's get the hell out of here. I'm done with these guys. And it was pretty much he was finished with McMahon. And McMahon himself said he couldn't do business with Hogan anymore. But that's the wrestling business. Never say never. I think it was a trade-off for both of them. Hogan could have used the publicity to help his show, and McMahon could use the publicity to help his show. So when the two meet together again, they see dollar signs, you forget all those bad things ever been said.
What about Piper, your friend Roddy?
Piper Nuts.
Yes.
We nicknamed him that Piper Nuts. Boy, he went berserk when we put these emails on the internet, you know. But anytime, if I send you an email, it's not my email anymore. I've sent it to you, and you can do with it what you want.
Right.
So he went nuts on that. Yeah, Piper Nuts. I don't know what's wrong with that guy. I really don't know what's wrong with him. I've not seen him in person in 15 years. But he's back.
Yeah, he came back.
Why they brought him back, I don't know. Once again, but see, these guys they signed for the classic wrestling figure. They signed to do that, and the DVD projects and the books, and that's why they're back. There's a ton of those guys been signed back. They're not really signed to work. They're just signed up to go and do PR stuff. And
right.
Like Superstar Graham, they come to Phoenix and have a show. They bring him out, introduce him, give him a payday.
Did you see the WrestleMania Hall of Fame ceremony they did? With all those guys? No. You think they'll ask you to do that?
They had me on the short list. Till when I wouldn't sign for the figure, the stuff, then they kind of got mad at me. I don't know. I don't know what this Hall of Fame thing's all about. I guess they give you a payday, fly you out, give you a payday, bring your wife, you get to have a nice dinner, and food and drinks, and you get a 90-day no-compete clause where you can't work for anybody else. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just not work for anybody else 90 days after I've been in the Hall of Fame. Can you imagine that?
That is crazy if you think about it.
Yeah.
There should be an incentive to do the Hall of Fame that way.
There's always a catch to something that office does. There's never just to go in and do it and be friends and have fun and pat each other on the back and relive some memories. There's always something there to catch you. I'd love to do business with them, but I can't. I just can't do business with them.
What are your thoughts on the whole idea that WWF, they pretty much dropped the whole ICW title for like, I think 2003.
Can you watch those big potholes?
What's that?
Did you see that?
I'm sorry, here's another one.
Holy Christ, went straight up in the air.
As long as you caught it.
Yeah, on the way down.
Exactly.
Okay, what was that?
No, I was saying, what are your thoughts on the ICW title being dropped for a little while back in 2003 and 4, and now they're bringing it back? And don't you think it was pretty stupid how WWE tried to jump the title?
Yeah, it's never been the same since that. And it's going to take somebody with some credibility to come back.
I think they put it on Carlito Colon.
Didn't Sheldon Benjamin have it for like 7 months or something?
Yeah, everyone thought Sheldon, what is it, Sheldon Benjamin? He was going to be the
longest
break my record? Yeah, right.
What's the record? What's the line?
15 months.
15.
Just short of 15 months, I guess real historians know. Anytime you take a title and you put it on women, or you throw it in the trash, or you throw it off in the river, and you make it to where it means nothing, then it takes years for it to ever really bring it back. You know, if Hogan took the world's title, whichever one they have now, right. They have two, so see, neither one of them mean a damn thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's stupid.
Yeah, neither one means anything. But let's just take, for instance, Hogan takes. Let's say he wins both of them. He beats both of the guys. He takes them. He goes over here to the river, stands up. That's it. I'm throwing these titles away. They're junk. They're no good. They mean nothing. It would take decades to ever make it mean something again. They just haven't found the right person.
Who do you think is the right person? Do you think he's not out there yet? Or do you think he's in the locker room now?
Yeah, I don't think that the right person's out there right now. The guys they have are good guys. There's nothing wrong with them, but they've been up and down the card so much that they have no credibility as legitimate champions.
Even John Cena,
Yeah, I don't.
tries to be The Rock too much
Yeah.
with his promos, at least.
You done any more shows with the Clowns? You were talking about those last night.
No, they had their big gathering, I guess,
Yeah, I heard
last
about
week
it.
or 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago. They didn't call me for it. One of their guys did call me. What's the one? Rude Boy, Rudy. He called about 2 months ago. It wasn't about the gathering. It was about some other show. He said they were going to start doing shows again. I said, well, keep me posted. But those Clowns, you better get your dough from them quick. So when the show's over, the Clowns are gone.
Yeah, you were talking about last one, like Madman Pondo, and that we're going to book them on some shows coming up.
I saw something on a clip from somewhere where Pondo, I guess, took a.
Last?
Was it where he cut his arm?
Probably.
Why? And just.
Scissors and CZW.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
Did you ever see the one with Negro Butcher?
No,
Where
no.
he slammed him off the ladder through all the light tubes, and like the guy's arm almost fell off.
I mean, to me that's ludicrous. There's nobody done any more hardcore than even Pondo. He gives me at least he gives me the grandfather of hardcore, because he said he watched all that stuff I did and we did in Memphis, and it made him start doing it. I said, brother, you took this to a different level.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a whole new era of desecration of the flesh with you. I don't know. Unbelievable what he does. I don't know how he's alive. I don't know. That's a testament to him, I guess.
What are your thoughts on the current weak tag division in wrestling? There's no good tag teams out there anymore.
They did the same thing with the tag belts as they did with the Intercontinental. They switched them back and forth so much to so many different tag teams that just were teams thrown together that the tags mean nothing now. And for some reason they got rid of managers, and without managers, tag teams just aren't as important. You really need that manager with that tag team, especially for a good heel tag team. And there's no managers. There's no way for young guys to learn how to be managers. Most of the training schools, there's nobody there who knows how to train a manager.
It's true. What are your thoughts on the Iron Sheik and his drug use?
Well, gosh, we all got our skeletons buried all around, and I'm not one to criticize a man that might partake of a few little things on the side. If you had something here today, I might try it myself. If Jake was here and he had the crack pipe, I'd probably hit it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind. I'm not one of these hard shell, better than thou people that's going to criticize somebody for what they do. Iron Sheik, I love that man to death. He's just a great guy. He's done so much, and there's not any place you can't go that's just not a good Iron Sheik story. I mean, he has done more to be a legend than anybody I know.
Definitely.
He's a legend in and out of the wrestling business.
Did you get to see the first HBK match against Kurt Angle at all? Did you get to watch that or not?
No.
Okay.
No. I just don't sit down and watch it. He's the most talented guy that I've seen come along out of the amateur ranks in a long, long time. I mean, this guy's he's good. He's good at everything he does. I think he does a great job when he's a good guy, and he does a great job being the bad guy. He's extremely talented, and he came along really fast, which was good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw WrestleMania, but basically they had the two top baby faces from Raw and SmackDown both actually grabbed the titles at the pay-per-view. What are your thoughts on that? You think that's good for business, having two baby faces from each company?
Probably not. Nah, because it depends on what they had cooking coming up later down the line, what they needed to do, what they were looking for. When you got good guys, I've always said, unless it's a Hulk Hogan or a Rocky, and you got really good, strong heels, and the people are they come to see the good guy keep the belt because he's so good and the heels are so mean and dastardly and so bad. The people buy a ticket to make sure that they support the good guy, and he keeps the belt away from this old mean heel. And then, if you got really good heels that can carry it, and you got some weaker baby faces, then you let the heel have the belt, and you have the weaker baby faces and try to have them take that belt from that mean old heel. Oh, I'm going to go watch this guy. People bought tickets to see me get beat. People bought tickets to see Hulk Hogan remain the champion. They bought tickets to see him win. That's a total difference in the way that people looked at it. But we had such good heels that when you got a Kamala or you got Andre the Giant or, Cowboy Bob, or it didn't matter who you put in there, these guys were all strong, legitimate, good heels that people were afraid, man, he might have a chance with Hogan. He might take Hogan's belt.
Right.
And so they bought tickets to make sure that they supported Hogan. Whereas with me, they hated me so much, they didn't care which babyface took the belt from me. It could have been Leaping Lanny Poffo, and they would have loved it, or S.D. Jones. I think still the roof would have came off the building.
Is it true that S.D. Jones was rumors that he was had the most groupies of any wrestler?
I don't know. I was never around S.D. away from the building, so I don't know. I know that he did a great Rocky Johnson impersonation though of the Rock's dad. I tell you what. Because they were tag team partners, I guess, for a while.
Speaking of Rocky, have you seen any of his movies?
No. He just looks so different, because he's got that Hollywood look.
Yeah.
Where they make you lose 50 pounds. They want you like really, really bony and skinny. And I noticed his prefrontal lobes of his head are, you can see them now because he's lost so much weight.
Do you think he sold out his family by going into Hollywood, or do you think it was a good choice to get out of wrestling?
Oh, gosh, he made the best choice. When it comes time for somebody to slam you in Hollywood, you stop the camera. Exactly. They bring in someone, the guy takes a slam, and you go sit down and watch.
Yep.
So, he made the right choice. Gosh, you can only wrestle so long in Hollywood. He can go forever. He can go and go. It's like Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods can play golf till if he lives to be 100, he can still play golf.
Do you think Rocky will ever make a comeback in the ring?
I don't know. It's hard to say. It depends on. That movie business is tough also because not every movie is going to be a hit, and pretty soon you might not have anybody calling you. Will he want to come back and do wrestling? I'm sure he can anytime he wants. Cameo appearances for him is all he needs to do now.
What are your thoughts on Steve Austin's brief comeback? Do you think he'll ever return to the ring again, or?
I don't know. I don't know what his physical condition is as far as the neck injury. Wrestling the right people, he could go on and have a successful career down the line. But to go out there every night and go in with some of these kids that's out there nowadays that's not trained as well, you really are. If you have a serious injury or you got a pre-existing injury, you stand a chance of leaving the business in a wheelchair. Now, he could go out and wrestle with Hogan for 6 months or 8 months or myself or someone that's not going to do any physical damage to him and, have a comeback career, I would suppose.
From, I guess our last interview was last August. Any good stories of any independent shows, some matches you've done this year?
Oh, gosh, I'd have to think here. So, listen, on these independent shows, it's like starting all over. It really is. They try, but come on. Why do they want to put their little... They go get a little smoke machine, to try to make smoke, and it doesn't work, and they get the disco lights going, and they got the stuff all taped up outside for the curtain, and it falls down, and the matches go forever and ever and ever. This show over here coming over for Joe, they run a real tight show.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
It'll be in and out and do it the right way. And a couple of guys do that. Most of them, it's their own little fantasy. You know, they get to be promoter of the day, or they get to be their MWF or whoever they are. They got their little names, and and they all got their little belts. They want to be champions. Yeah. I had a guy ask not long ago would I put one of his guys over. I'd said in the match, if you don't mind, we'd like to get his hand raised. He's our champion, and he's back next month with the guy. I said, no, I don't do that. I don't do that. I'm not going out here and put these guys over. For what?
What part of the United States, or maybe what country, do you think you get the best reaction?
Canada. Yeah. For some reason, I always drew very well. Well, I say for some reason, but this is a story I'll tell you guys I hadn't told you before. When I went to the WWFE back then, I came out of Canada, and I had been on a Canadian television, which was equivalent to the cable station that came out of Vancouver, BCTV. No, it was for Al Tomko. The old Sander Kovacs, who Sander just passed away, was his promotion. I had been on that cable TV station, which was equivalent to Turner's TBS years ago, that went across the country.
Right.
I had been on that Canadian television for 6 or 8 months as the Honky Tonk Man, doing the jumpsuit with the black hair, being the bad guy. So all the people in Canada had a taste of me.
Like a jump start of.
Yeah. Whereas the people in the States, the only people who even remotely remembered me would have been the people down in
Tennessee.
No, actually, because I never did this there. It was Pensacola, Mobile, for the Fullers. It was in that section, that area of the country, that they got the first look at me doing this particular thing. Then I went to Canada, did it there. Then I was on that BCTV, which was nationwide, coast to coast on Saturday afternoon, and I was over real strong in Vancouver. So the Canadians had a jump start, yeah.
Who do you think's done more for the wrestling business out of the 4 guys? Hogan, Austin, Rock, or Flair?
Oh, definitely Hogan. Definitely. I mean, they can say, and I know Stone Cold. He's living in the grandeur now, and I guess McMahon even backs it up and says that Austin broke all of Hogan's records. I find that hard to believe, because when you take a guy that worked for the company for 10 straight years like Hogan, it's hard to say that someone came along in 4 or 5 years and broke all his records.
At that time, weren't they running 7 days a week too?
Exactly.
4 now.
Exactly. And the buildings were just as big. The Capitol Center in Washington D.C. was 22,000. Madison Square Garden was 22,000. The big arena in Cleveland, Ohio, up there it seated 20,000. So it's not that the buildings got bigger and they sold more seats that way. Look, Hogan put 93,000 people in a building. Man, it's hard to break that record. Hogan put 60,000 people at the fairgrounds up in Toronto for a match with him and Paul Orndorff. I don't know where they come up with that. And even Austin says he holds all the records. I don't know if that's true. He might in merchandising, but Hogan's merchandise was only sold through mail order catalog from the office or at the building. You had to buy a ticket to get one of those.
Right.
If Austin sold more T-shirts and Rocky sold more T-shirts than Hogan, I guess they did, because they were in every store in America, every store around the world.
True.
So when you put it in that perspective, you say, well, I broke all Hogan's T-shirt records. Well, whoop-de-fucking-do. I guess you could when you got them in Sears and Target and Walmart and Kmart. And you go to the Circle K store, you could find those shirts. But with Hogan, the only way to get that yellow T-shirt was to buy a ticket, or through their program where there was a little order form and you could order it. And I'm not defending Hogan. I'm not knocking Steve in any way, because I don't really defend Hogan on a lot of things. But he changed this business. He changed the way people look at this business.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on the whole Hardy Lita Edge scenario?
Boy, oh boy. Don't bring your women around the locker room. That's all I can say. Somebody's gonna hit on her. I mean, I guess Lita like to be hit on, maybe, from what I understand. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with it. It's turned into a pretty good angle, I thought.
Are you shocked that WF actually catered to the internet crowd and went with the angle?
I think they really had. It was
good business.
I think so. Yeah. It was the one time that they probably did listen to what the wrestling world was talking about, as opposed to going, no, we just fired this guy and let him go on about his merry way. Well, I think they did the right thing there. And that's what they need more of. They need more of that kind of stuff. I don't think that the way that Edge and Lita are doing all the kissing and all that.
Overdoing it.
I think it's overkill. Yeah. Now what they need to do is have her have an affair with somebody else. Edge and Hardy get together as a tag team.
That'd be good.
Do you think, they said they catered to the internet and all that. Do you think Vince is out of touch with the whole wrestling?
No, he's not out of touch at all, believe me. This man's got his finger on whatever goes on up there, and no matter what anyone says,
the whole wrestling business.
He knows what's going on. They have always been a company, and if you guys look back in time, they have always done things that we, us mortal men out here, that's on the outside looking in, always question and go, why in the hell are they doing that? That's the silliest shit I've ever seen and heard in my life. But sometimes they do something that's so abstract and so absurd and so absolutely nonsense to us, and it works, and we go, well, hell, I guess he must be the genius. Manny Poffo was a genius, not Hogan, not McMahon.
What are your thoughts on ECW coming back for that one night show?
I think it was just his way of finally putting the final nail in the coffin to the ECW product and saying, that's it, we'll do this thing. The buy rates weren't as great as everybody was saying. I knew it wouldn't be. ECW was, and I never worked for them, but they were an extension of an independent that just ran more shows than a normal independent. They didn't draw hundreds of thousands of people and a big TV audience. They had a small following. It was a good place for guys to go and perfect their craft and learn how to work a little bit in front of crowds. Other than that, they weren't going to make a run at Ted Turner. They weren't going to make a run at McMahon. It's kind of like the Jarrett group. I don't think, McMahon really didn't care about them.
Right.
Because if he wanted to, he'd have squashed them. He'd have put them out of business.
Actually, they're getting on TV with Spike TV. What are your thoughts on that?
It'll help them a little bit, but not a whole lot, because I don't know if you guys have watched it. The product is not very. It's
like WCW.
It's not good. The problem is talent. There's just no talent. You got the big company that's got all the talent, if there is any, and you got this TNA trying to survive with whatever scraps of talent might be left out there. And there's just not any new people. It's the new people you have to have. TNA's not getting new guys, and WWE's not getting any new guys, because there's none out there.
Do you think the novelty of the six-sided ring is stupid for...
It was different. I think it was okay.
You think it
was okay? Yeah, it was different. I didn't see any problem with it. I didn't really watch a lot of their shows. I saw a little bit of one that was done when they did it in Nashville at that building, and it just was real cheesy.
Right.
And I saw little pieces of one they did. It was actually, it's back when, and God bless him, and I miss him to death. And last year I wrestled him on this Wildwood, New Jersey show, Chris Candido. I saw it like it was Chris's first or second time in. I guess it was his first time in, because he got beat by somebody, and I saw a little bit later on he got a win in the next show. But even at the Universal or wherever they're filming in Florida, the lighting's better, but it's still it's so small and so cheesy. It just doesn't have that big look to it. And I think wrestling has still got to have that big look on television. It might be okay for Spike. Apparently they didn't want to pay the demands of the WWE. And I guess the ratings have a lot to do with it too. You know, if your ratings aren't there, you just can't keep charging these guys these big numbers and say, I'm giving you the show and I want part of the commercial time. And when it comes time to renegotiate, the TV people are they're tough.
What are your thoughts on Jim Cornette's firing?
It wasn't surprising because Jimmy's a great talent and a great mind, I think. He understands the wrestling business probably better than anybody out there right now. At his age level, I think Jimmy's around 35 or 40 maybe. He was such a student, and he's dedicated to protecting the integrity of the business, and he didn't fit in with what they were doing. It was just a matter of time. And Jimmy's high-strung about the business. I knew sooner or later he would snap, and when he snaps, he snaps.
Oh, yeah.
But he's such a great guy.
You think Paul Heyman will be good down for the OVW territory, or?
I don't know what Paul knows about. I mean, he's not anywhere near Jimmy Cornette as far as the wrestling business, I don't think. Paul, he took a product and did very well with it for a while. You know, here's the thing I look at. How smart are you to let your company go out of business? You obviously did something very wrong. That's the way I look at it. Unless you can be a man and say, I destroyed the thing because I was tired of playing with it. I didn't want it anymore, so I destroyed it.
Right.
It's the same WCW scenario. How can all these people say it was run wrong? All you guys are there. I mean, you guys were there. How can Hogan say it was run wrong? He was there. He had creative control over what he did. And the company goes down the tubes.
You said like last year you'd be surprised if TNA was even still around. Do you think they'll ever go bankrupt?
No, I think they have investors. Somebody's got money put into it, and it'll only be gone when whoever's got the money says, that's it, I'm cutting the money off here.
Right.
So they've survived longer than I thought they would. They really have.
Actually,
it's like I said last year, I didn't figure they'd be around, but they've made it. I think if they get past a 3 or 4 or 5 year plateau,
right,
they might be able to continue on.
What are your thoughts on TNA finally de-emphasizing Jeff Jarrett off of TV a little bit?
Well, you know, I'm sure it didn't sit well with him, maybe, but from what I understand, it might have been a call from the people that had the money that said, look, we're going to have to try to change this product a little bit. You have to constantly do that. It's not like the old days where you know, Jeff worked for his dad down in Memphis, and he was always in and around the top matches, and because people see through it. They'll stop watching. You know, if I was on the TV every week as their champion, every week, people get tired of listening to my bullshit.
What was the story with Jarrett kind of got swept under? Didn't he get caught in an airport?
Yeah, caught with the
crack pipe or something?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, I guess he had some paraphernalia on him, and it's funny, his old man had done an interview about a month before that or something with Wade Keller or somebody from one of those pro wrestling torch, and he said Jeff had never taken any steroids, never did any drugs, and well,
oops.
Yep. You got to be careful sometimes when you start making those kind of statements.
Any contact with Jerry Lawler over last year?
No, none whatsoever. No, I just noticed that he's losing more and more of his hair in the front up there. So.
It's a crazy story about his house going to get robbed.
Yeah, plus he, you know, here's a guy, he goes out and does this thing and says, yes, my friend Jackie Fargo told me not to bring your wives or girlfriends into the business, and I should have listened to him, and that was when the cat ran off, right?
Right.
Now he's got his new girlfriend, and him and his new girlfriend, his second ex-wife, and the co-promoter in Memphis, they have a match against each other.
Jeez.
Well, I don't guess you listen to old Jackie Fargo about bringing your wives and girlfriends in the business.
Have they ever contacted you to do those nostalgia shows down there? And
No.
What do you think about their business? I mean, they draw
No,
really
they
good.
do okay with it. No, they're not going to call me. Of course not. Not now. I mean, well, let's never say never.
Right.
I think it would be good for them.
Right. Definitely.
But
Are you surprised with the numbers and nostalgia a company like that's drawing?
You know, it seems to be the only thing that's drawing nowadays anywhere across America.
Like in Alabama?
Yeah.
Go down there. Did they ever contact you?
Yeah, I was there. I'm not. I did the one for the Terry Gordy Memorial, and then the lady that was running that, she decided to do these shows, and she put one together.
Was it Dothan?
I don't know how the Dothan one did. That wasn't hers. The one in Birmingham did about 1,800 people.
Was that Boutwell?
No, she ran it over at another place. The Boutwell, they've not had one there.
Right.
It seems that these particular shows do better than the average independent show.
Right. Like in the Carolinas too.
Yeah. Even so much that obviously WWE feels the same way. They brought a bunch of guys back. Somebody said Kamala was on TV again not long ago.
Yeah, they had him doing the Diva search. What are your thoughts on Dusty might going up to help out?
Well, there again, that's Dusty signed. I guess he signed their little contract to do the DVDs and the movies and the stuff.
Is he done with TNA?
Yeah, he's done with TNA. I just don't see. Dusty's booking in TNA. He really didn't help the company. They fired him.
Exactly.
So I guess Vince says, well, I'll show him. I'll take Dusty up here. I'll show him what a real great talent he really is. I'll put him on the creative team. So that creative, listen, there's only one creator up there.
Yeah.
What do you feel about them bringing in the Hollywood writers and like pretty much like Marks almost?
There's so many guys that's legends in the business that could be there writing stuff and pitching ideas. Even if they didn't fly them in to do it, they could pitch them from home, from the phone. That understand the wrestling business and the clientele that buy wrestling tickets. The one time I was watching the show and my wife was there and she just finished watching one of her soap operas that she tapes and watches it back at night. And how they did the cutaway for the interview. They cut into the interview, and then the way they cut out is exactly the same way as they do these soap operas. And I said, that's how they're doing the wrestling now. She said, what? Yep, that's how they're doing it. One of the best interviews, I guess, that's been done in a long time. I'm not patting Hogan and Shawn Michaels on the back, but I guess the one with Hogan, with Mean Gene and them, was one of the best interview segments they had on TV in years.
Yep.
Because it was an actual wrestling interview where the guy was standing there with the microphone and tell us about the match, and he's talking about the match. It's not all this goofy staring at each other in the face, and then all of a sudden they walk out and you're dumbfounded. It's a different way of doing it. I don't think it appeals to wrestling fans. I don't.
Isn't Triple H now on the writing team too, I think?
Oh, I'm sure. I've heard he was doing some backstage stuff and helping direct and do things like that. Which, I mean, if you're married to the boss's daughter, you need to learn that part of the business. Because sooner or later, you're going to have to take over.
Take Murdoch.
Did you do the Legend show in Tampa?
No, that guy, Rob Russin, I told him to go to hell about 10 years ago. He probably won't ever call me. I don't know what happened. He fell out. The last thing I heard he did was, remember that Mark Gastineau, the football player?
Yeah.
He put on a boxing match with Gastineau somewhere.
I remember
And that was the last I ever heard of Rob Russin. And then all of a sudden he pops back up with these guys and some guy named Sal. And
Sal Corrente.
they say that I know this guy, but they never call me.
Sal Corrente, he's like friends with like Nikita and all them.
They got some little clique going there that Diamond Dallas Page and all those guys are doing it and do them all. You know, to have a reunion in the Carolinas, I was never wrestled in the Carolinas, so as far as the old NWA and the Crockett promotion, so I wouldn't mean anything there anyway.
Are you surprised that Eric Bischoff lasted this long in WWE?
Yes, very much surprised. I'm surprised he hadn't had the shit beat out of him by a whole bunch of guys, but that just, to me, that just shows that the guys that were really, really mad at him and said they hated him and all the stuff they said when they left the other company and came over, that then they weren't man enough to confront this guy and say, okay, you're an asshole and we don't want you around here. We're going to make life miserable for you. Years ago, that would have happened. Now, obviously, they just tuck their tail and going about their business. I guess to give Flair his credit, I guess he did have words with Bischoff a few times.
Yeah.
To give him a little credit for having some backbone. But some of the other guys that said all those things about Eric Bischoff when they left that company, and then when Bischoff shows up, they kind of cowered down.
Do you think that Monday Night Raw is the A show and pretty much SmackDown's the B show? How would you go about changing that?
Josh, it's hard to do because of the way the television's set up. Obviously, you got the SmackDown is sold to UPN, and the Raw show is going to be sold now to USA. So they want a total different look, a total different product, and that's what makes it hard. Who do you pick to go over and be on the other show? Who do you pick? I think they need to do a little bit more cross promotion and get some more interest. But then the TV people aren't going to like that.
Right.
It's a conflict of interest with television stations because they want to have the number one show. Believe me, the UPN people want SmackDown to be just as strong in the ratings or stronger than they are with the Raw show. And it's a juggling act that's going to be hard. It's hard to do when you split the talent.
Do you think it's stupid how, they play each off each other when everybody knows it's the same company?
Yeah, I don't think you should do that. I think they should just let it be known it's the same company, and build some issues there with guys. How the guys knocking the SmackDown crew.
Right.
You're a bunch of B-leaguers. You're not up in the big leagues. This is the show. This is it. We're not on this other. Kind of make it. Get guys at each other's throats, and then you create interest.
Speaking of Spike TV, what's your thoughts on the reality show, the UFC shows?
I've seen a little bit of the UFC stuff. It's not bad. And I like the way Spike does it. They say something about, what is it? Roller derby's not real, wrestling's not real, but this is real. Kind of knocking the wrestling show that's eventually going to leave them. But it's been pretty good. I don't mind. The only thing I don't like about the UFC stuff is sometimes the matches end real fast, and sometimes there's a lull where they kind of lay around and there's not a lot of action.
It's hard to book.
Yeah.
It's a shoot, you don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's not really really real.
Do you think it's bad how they have a couple of the guys on there? I mean, they're crazy looking. Do you think it's bad for a company to be on a national TV show and have guys who are kind of almost over the edge in a real fight?
Well, I mean,
I think it draws fans.
It draws fans, yeah, but I think there'll be some.
I don't think everyone should have, chopped off hair and the bodybuilder look.
Exactly.
Either like you're portraying some of these organizations. It takes every kind. I think the more you can show the public that the average Joe can get out here and do this stuff, the more interest you're going to have in it. It's the only way to get new people. If you're looking at television and you're saying I can never go to the WWE, all they got there is a whole bunch of bodybuilders, and I'm never going to be a bodybuilder. So you hurt your talent pool.
Do you think it's sad or is it good that HBK and Hogan, who are the most over people right now in the company, are getting pushed?
It just shows that you got two people that have a real strong drawing power, obviously. I don't think if the showstopper, the Heartbreak Kid, if after his long absence came back and got into a program with Hogan, it would mean as much. He's been back on TV long enough now to have established himself as a legitimate contender. You see, so he's built his steam and his heat now has been built over. He's been back for over a year and a half, 2 years almost. So I mean, it was a case of just reestablishing who he was and what he could do, and he's been fed some good programs.
What are your thoughts on the Hogan HBK matches, like the main event at SummerSlam? What does that say for the guys who have the titles? Well, what it says is these two guys are going to
oh, they're going to show us how it's supposed to be done, which they were there last year. Hogan worked in WrestleMania last year, right?
I think he did.
He was there.
Was that?
Went out and had a match.
WrestleMania?
Yeah.
The last one? Yeah, that was my question.
So it's
Muhammad Hassan, like.
So it's not a case of Hogan coming in as this long-lost character and taking over a spot from these guys. There again, he's been reestablished also. He spent a year in that company doing different stuff.
Right.
He's not been off TV that long. He was back and did the WrestleMania, and he did the Captain America thing and some more stuff. So it'd be like if The Rock came back next week and got into a program, and they got him ready to be the main event at WrestleMania. The guy's still over. What does it say about the other guys on the card? It says you guys are better figure out a way, figure out something that's going to make you a cut above, that's going to make the people look at you and say, I want to go watch this match with this guy, and makes the office, the company, push you in that position. It's just something the other guys probably haven't found yet.
You think Hogan and Shawn have another title run in them, or you think nah?
Sure. I'm sure they could, yeah, but I don't see it happening. Well, Hogan's not going to put in that time and effort.
Right.
And eventually somebody's going to have to do the job, and I'm interested who's going to do the job.
Yeah, exactly.
Think they'll do Hogan.
In fact, on my website, I have a question. We changed the site around a little bit where instead of the fans asking me questions, I get to ask them a question. And they give me the answer. So one of my questions last week was, who's going to do the job?
Exactly.
Who's going down in this one, Hogan or HBK?
What are your thoughts of Bret Hart being teased now for maybe the finish? Obviously he's not, but...
Never say never. Bret, I guess Bret's idea was to go back and do this DVD project and do this thing. It's because he knew that they're going to do this DVD project anyway, with him or without him. And if he wasn't on board, they were going to do it like they did the Warrior, the self-destruction of the Warrior.
Right.
Well, the guy didn't self-destruct, but that's the spin they're putting on it.
Right.
So, I mean, God only knows what they would have said about Bret Hart. God only knows what kind of interviews they would have had of people on there.
Right.
They're going to do the project no matter what. So I think it was a smart move on his part to go back and start to get this thing settled.
What are your thoughts on the picture that he did with Vince, the handshake picture?
Well, never say never, but it's like I said, they were going to do the project either with him or without him.
Did you see that picture?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was, that wasn't a bad picture. Both of them smiling like nothing ever happened.
What's your opinion of WWF dropping the Arab characters, Muhammad Hassan and all that?
I don't like, and I can promise you this, nobody tells McMahon what to do. And this, sooner or later, he's going to bring these guys back out whenever the time is right. Because no television executive is going to tell him who to put on TV and who not to put on TV. And I don't think it was right that the TV people said, we don't like these. Next thing, what if they said, we don't like Hogan anymore? We don't like the bodybuilder guy there, Batista, we don't like him. You can't have these people from outside telling you who to book and who not to book. I don't know if I said it the last time we talked, but I always said it was just a matter of time before they did this Iranian, the Sheik gimmick again. Why they waited so long, I don't know. And I knew they were going to. They have to, because it's a hot button issue right now. We're in the entertainment business. All we're doing is putting entertainment out there. It's no slap on the Iranians, the Iraqis. It's no slap on the U.S. troops or anything. I think the troops would have loved it. They would have loved to have seen Sergeant Slaughter come running out there, and have the Iron Sheik managing the guy, get some real heat. But it's such a hot button issue right now. It was too hot for the public. Too bad, because somebody said those guys were the bulletproof gimmick. Yeah, they better be. Somebody would have killed them.
What are your thoughts on Brock Lesnar? You think he'll be back?
Eventually. Yeah. The WWE never likes for someone to walk out of that business, out of their company on their own terms. when you leave there, they won't. It has to be them pushing you down the steps in the wheelchair, not you rolling yourself away on your own.
Right. What are your thoughts on Road Warrior Animal returning?
That was a good one because they had this big show planned in Puerto Rico. These guys from Queens, New York.
Yeah, with Shamrock and
They had a big show planned down there. They flew all these guys down to the big press conference, shot an angle where the Barbarian and the Warlord threw Road Warrior Animal through a table and had the ambulance come take him away. And Road Warrior Animal, I guess, was kind of helping book the whole thing. Then all of a sudden he's gone. He's back on TV, and the show never happened in Puerto Rico. They blamed it on the weather.
Right.
Nah, the weather had nothing to do with it. I heard the guy lost 30 grand before he ever started.
Wow.
What are your thoughts on Gene Snitsky's character at all?
He's done a real good job with it. I knew Gene a couple of years ago. I was on a USO tour with him, and he was doing the Patriot thing there. And he's pretty talented. I saw it. He's a big kid too. He's 6'4", 6'5", 260, 270. He's done real good with it. I think he could take it a little bit further and kick it up a notch. He's going to have to if he's going to be a major player. I don't know what else they can do with Kane. Kane's done a wonderful job doing all the stuff he's done. I don't know what else they can do with him.
Speaking of guys like Kane being on top for so long, are you shocked that Undertaker's still on top?
Yeah, in a way. I never thought it would last that long, but he's obviously done something right to the right people. I don't know if he still has the ability to be a main event player and draw on top. It's hard to say.
You think Vince respects anybody that's ever worked for him? Like, who's the one guy you think Vince actually respects the most?
Gosh.
Worker-wise.
Respect coming from up there, I don't know if there's such a word. I think it's only a temporary thing they use.
Right.
You know, I respect you. I really like you. Fire that son of a bitch.
You don't think there's anybody that Vince likes at all?
Jake.
Yeah. I don't. You know, that's hard to say. I've never been in his mind to where I know whether he likes me or not. You know. There again, that's a handshake you better be watching out for. You know, back to the Undertaker. I think you should have maybe try Hogan or Undertaker and Hogan, see how that plays out. The Shawn Michaels thing's okay. Shawn's just too small to be in the ring with Hogan. Just too small, really. I think Hogan. Hogan needs a bigger guy. Yeah, and it should have been an Undertaker or Kane, but I guess Kane's a good guy now. You know, Undertaker could have turned bad and came back.
Right.
I like to see the big guys go at it, as opposed to seeing Hogan in with the smaller guys. Hogan had a match with Kurt Angle the other night.
Yeah. From
that had to be looking at it on TV, because Kurt's not a big tall guy anyway, and he's definitely not on steroids. So Hogan had to just tower above him.
What are your thoughts on Jake when he did the one thing with Randy Orton?
Well, Jake had just got back to the country, had just been arrested twice in one day.
Yeah.
I heard that the people this is Rob Russ and these guys. I don't know if Russ was involved at that point, but the people that put on the Legends thing in Tampa put up to 10 grand for the bail money or something. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Wow. They put up to 10 grand for the bail money. Jake got out of jail and came up and did that. Jake needs a hip surgery, so I heard he goes back to McMahon, does that thing, signs back on. Who knows? Maybe the office paid for the hip surgery in lieu of Jake doing a few things for the office. Who knows? I wouldn't think Jake had health insurance or something that would take care of an operation like that.
Do you like the Carlito Colon character at all, or you think it's just a ripoff of Razor Ramon?
It's okay. It's different. The hairstyle's what makes him.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, there's something, just the hairstyle alone makes him different from the other guys there, and it's getting him recognized and getting him noticed, and he does a pretty good job. He's not really polished yet. He's not the greatest of all time.
What's your opinion of his father and Joe Vica? You worked down there.
Joe Vica, I never really particularly cared about.
You trust him?
I just knew that, Joe Vica was, I don't know what he did with the money. He just sure didn't give it to me. But Carlos was okay. He was fine. I had a lot of good matches with Carlos and drew a lot of money there with them.
Right.
Where do you see wrestling going? Do you think there's any big dream matches left?
Could be. Yeah, I think these, like I said, the Undertaker Hogan would be good.
Austin Hogan.
Austin Hogan would
Flair
be
Hogan,
good.
maybe again?
No, I don't know. Flair's been on TV too much. That takes away from him. He's kind of in the same predicament as a lot of guys there that's on contract. It's just too much TV.
Right.
He's been on way too much, and I don't think he would bring that special kick to the table. I don't know who could you bring out of the woodwork nowadays.
What's your thoughts on Flair? I guess he still does like all the house shows, works the matches and everything.
He obviously loves what he's doing. I mean, or he needs the dough. It's easy money for him because he goes out and does what he wants to do, and just traveling on the road, that's all he's ever done. So that part's not hard. But a lot of guys say, "Oh, the road's hard. This is hard." No, it's not. That's what we do. The hard part is having to go out here and struggle on an independent show with some kid you never seen before. He's muscled up and he weighs 300 pounds. That's the hard part.
In a really horrible ring.
Yeah, in a horrible ring and horrible situation.
Have you seen anybody on the indie scene that's caught your eye at all?
Not in the last year or so. Not in the last 2 years, really.
Have you seen CM Punk's work at all? Or Matt
No, I
Striker?
haven't seen him. I haven't seen anybody in Europe. The Europeans, the English and the Europeans are the same as here in the States. I've just not seen, and the Canadians the same way. There's just not any really good boys around.
What are your thoughts on Ultimate Warrior being a public speaker now?
Well, he knows how to get some heat, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Didn't he
What was the deal with that? I forget.
I don't know. I guess he made some comments about
homosexuals? And all
yeah,
stuff?
yeah. So,
That's not what.
That's what she said.
You have to. I think if you read some of his interviews, especially the ones he's done about the WWE and about McMahon and some of those things that's happened, behind the scenes stuff, you get a better understanding of him. His public speaking, I don't know. I've not listened to one of his speeches or what he speaks about. I know that you can't go out and do it like a wrestling interview. And I think sometimes he gets really wound up and starts screaming loud and yelling. I got along well with Warrior.
Have you ever run into him out?
No, one time we had a show and he was on in Las Vegas, and something happened and he split and the guy didn't have the money or something.
Did you ever see Sting's new video?
No.
Did you hear about it?
No. Not how it came about or anything. I've not heard
About how
anything.
he's a born again in the video, and it's like this whole thing was pretty insane.
Listen, I don't know this born again business. I don't know. I just don't get me started on this religion thing now.
What about Vince Russo's Ring of Glory?
Vince Russo. Boy, Cornette had nothing good to say about him.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, old brother. Vince Russo found the Lord after he's destroyed a lot of stuff in our business. Here's a guy who was a flash in the pan and came out of nowhere, fucked everything up, and now he's found God because there's probably so many people going to beat the shit out of him. Literally. He never says anything about the Hogan deal other than, yeah, Hogan was part of it and it was all happened, but he never said nothing about the settlement. It was settled, or he's still being sued, or I found God and I'm a changed man, so maybe they won't inflict so much monetary damages on me for what I did to Hogan. There's nothing wrong with going out and calling somebody an old bald-headed son of a bitch.
Do you think with the majority of the wrestlers with this whole born again, do you think it's just like a cop-out or it's just BS?
Well,
What do you think?
desperate men do desperate things, and if they can find work, if they have to toe the Bible to do it, that's the nature of the wrestlers. That's the nature of these boys and girls. I guess Luna's even doing it now. She's on the tour. Can I be born again? Well, if they were real men of God, they'd try to born me again, I guess. They did call me when they came out to Phoenix for their gathering. Now, none of DiBiase's crew called me, but the guy that actually put it on, he called and invited me to come down. But I was booked and going out of town. So I'm not ready for that nonsense. Listen, I still like to do stuff like anybody else that gets in the wrestling business or sports entertainment business. I have my little vices, you know, that I do. I get a little bottle of whiskey or wine or beer, you know, and smoke a little marijuana on the side here and there, snort a little coke, hit the crack pipe with Jake Roberts, look at the girls, you know, wish I could do the things I used to do.
Do you think bringing religion into wrestling, I mean, religion has its place, wrestling has its place, do you think it's just kind of, I don't know what the word would be?
I don't think the two go together at all.
Right.
I don't think they even, there's, I mean, why even put the two, why don't you, if you want to be an evangelist, go out and be an evangelist. Why don't we just set up a 50-yard football field and go out there and play football and then talk about religion? You know, let's have a baseball game and we're all born-again baseball players and we're going to play on Sunday afternoon and take up a collection and then we're going to talk about religion. I don't know where the wrestling part come into it or how it came into it or why.
Do you think maybe because promoting it's tax-free and
well,
a lot
that's
of write-offs?
Well, of course. There's a lot of tax-free nonsense with that. I don't. That's one that's always slipped through the cracks with our government. You know, they pick on some people with taxes and fees and licenses, and other people can fly on the radar screen. But that's a whole other issue. Believe me, I promise you this, sooner or later, McMahon is going to tap into that religious angle. Because he's got them all working there. You got Road Warrior Animal. He's born again with Ted DiBiase. You got DiBiase there. You got Sean.
One of them
I don't know that. No, I don't think they've converted him. Who else is behind the scenes over there walking with their Bibles?
I don't know about Arn. Is Arn?
I don't know. Whatever. He did his rehab thing and came out of it and is living a low profile.
What's your opinion of a guy who's in the spotlight there now, Johnny Ace?
Terry Funk's got nothing good to say about that boy.
Why? What are you saying?
He don't like him for some reason. You'll have to get Terry in the car and let him talk about Johnny Ace. You know, I don't know where Johnny Ace got all this power. Here's a guy who never really worked in the States,
right,
who never drew any serious money, who got to Japan and wrestled over there, which, I mean, who's to say Japan was easier or harder to work than anywhere else? And working in Japan, has nothing to do with it. All he did as far as booking over there was bring over American guys.
Right.
That's not really booking. Does he know anything about talent? He obviously don't know a fucking thing about me, because you don't call me on the phone, Johnny Ace, and leave a message telling me that don't squander away an opportunity like Chavo Guerrero. And I saw Chavo since the last time I talked to you guys. I saw Chavo and I said, yeah, let me tell you what this Johnny Ace did. He calls me up and he says, leaves a message on my phone, and I let Demolition Axe listen to the message. I said, come here, you got to listen to this shit. You're not going to believe it. So Johnny Ace is saying, yeah, we got this, so you have this opportunity to come in. It might turn out to be something. I would hate to see you squander away an opportunity. I never met this guy in my life, but he'd hate to see me squander away an opportunity. Who the hell is he? He doesn't know me. He doesn't know anything about me. How does he know what I'm squandering away? Why don't you tell me what I'm squandering away then, Mr. Talent Relations? Tell me you're squandering away a $150,000 contract. You're squandering away $1 million. We got it right here on the table. Come and sign it. Fuck, he didn't say that. I'd hate to see you squander away an opportunity like Chavo Guerrero did. And Chavo said, what the fuck I got to do with it? I said, yeah. I ain't seen Chavo in 15 years, and this is what I have to talk to him about. Johnny Ace calling and telling me he'd hate to see me squander away an opportunity like Chavo.
What do you think he wanted you to do?
They wanted me to come up and put that Randy Orton over on that deal.
Yeah.
Fly up to Winnipeg and put him over in a short 3-minute squash match. Unbelievable. But here's the question I'm asking. What was the opportunity that I squandered away? What was it? So he tells Bushwhacker Luke down in Puerto Rico, they go down there and run a show, I guess, and Bushwhacker's there. But Johnny Ace used to be the flag bearer for the Bushwhacker.
Florida.
Anyway,
And NWA.
Bushwhacker, I guess Bushwhacker asked him about calling me, and he says, Yeah, we had big plans for him. We had a lot of things going, a lot of good stuff we're going to do with him. He just didn't want. He didn't call us back. Didn't want to do it. I said, that's bullshit, Luke. They didn't say anything about plans. They said we got a 3-minute squash match in Winnipeg, and they'll pay you $500. I told them to blow me.
Right.
I made more than that on picture money, for Christ's sakes. But don't tell somebody else that I squandered away something and they had big plans. Well, if you got plans for me, if RF Video's got big plans for me, I'm sure you're going to tell me, listen, we got some big plans for this thing. You're not going to say, oh, you're missing a great opportunity.
Right. You're going to tell you what it is.
Yeah. Or to tell me, I'd hate to see you squander it away, and I've never met you before in my life. Why does he give a shit what I squander away? So that's my deal with Johnny Ace. Maybe I'll send him a copy of this he can listen to.
I'll bring you in. What guys do you still talk to in the business?
Try to talk to Luke Bushwhacker periodically, not as much as we used to. Tom Brandy periodically. Other than that, Earthquake.
How's he doing?
Will send me an email. Good. He's in remission right now, from what I understand. In fact, I just sent him an email a couple of days ago because I'm going to Cloverdale, British Columbia, which is real close. I was in that town the first night I ever met him when he was like 19 years old. So I sent him an email letting him know I'm going up there to see some of his old friends. Hopefully he'll write me back and let me know. But the last I heard was he was in remission. He had a spot on his lung, a lung cancer type thing. And the last I heard, he went back to the doctor, and the doctor said if they didn't know where to look, they wouldn't have seen anything. So he's happy about that. Hey, see that? Oh, that's a hot one. Yeah, baby.
You think the business is better off in 1995, or you think it's going to be better off in the year 2015?
It's hard to say. It goes in such cycles. It might stay down for 3, 4, 5 years. It can stay down 10 years. It might bounce back and be bigger and better than ever. That's a funny thing about really sports and entertainment. And I say sports because the wrestling part of it you have to. It is a certain element of sports involved. But when you look at sports on a pro level, on the amateur level, sometimes we win gold medals, sometimes we don't. We might go years without a gold medal in certain events, and then we start to dominate. Entertainment, you don't know when you make that $100 million movie if it's even going to break even, if it's going to go skyrocket to the moon. You don't know. And in the wrestling business, it's such a fickle industry. You just don't know. It's such a crapshoot that you got to be absolutely insane to promote it. And I never got along with promoters because I knew what they did.
Right.
But their job is to promote. Their job is to give me $1 and them take 20. That's their deal. And that's why I never got along with them. But they got a lot bigger balls than me because they actually did go out and promote. And that is a crapshoot. I just told a promoter the other day. He says, yeah, I'm trying to do this, and I've been pumping all this money into this thing, and I hope it works. I said, you'd probably be better off in Vegas with your money. You stand a better chance of winning.
Sure.
Where will it be in 2015? I hope I'm still around doing it.
Have you heard anything on Ted Turner starting up another company?
No, I think that was a Hogan fart in the wind. I think that was one of them Hogan rumors. Now, I'm not sure if Hogan was behind that, but
maybe about 4 or 5
the old huckster knows how to play those behind-the-scene games too. It's well documented that he's a real player in the locker room.
Maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I guess they had that Jimmy Hart company in Tampa.
Yeah.
You involved with that? Or?
No, I call that the Coke League.
Right. So did they have like some offices?
Yeah, they had a big office, and they all were.
Did they run like West Texas and have like 50 people?
Yeah, they real brilliant. Really brilliant. Now, who could they blame on the demise of that company? And I saw Valentine the other night. First time I've seen Valentine about a year. And he quotes the Bible too. He says he doesn't try to drink or curse, or lie, or anymore. I said, well, you don't have to have the Bible to do that. Just stop doing it. Anyway, I said, who do you blame for the downfall of that company? Oh, it was just run real bad. These guys, they were putting everybody on contract. Well, who was doing it? You guys were involved. It was the same old WCW scenario. They want to all blame each other.
Right.
You know, this guy was in charge, and this guy didn't want to do this, and this guy wanted a bigger office than this guy. Come on.
When that Hogan show, they had, was it Sags?
Brian Knobbs.
Brian Knobbs. Did you ever have any run-ins with the Nasty Boys?
Not really. No, not really. They were always okay with me. They got in. They were part of that XWF. They were running that show. Why they went to West Texas and those places like that?
That's bad.
I mean, nobody can draw there. Nobody.
There's no people there.
It's in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, they had a big card.
Like
Unbelievable. 50 people.
$25,000 like for the boys and everything.
Well, yeah, everybody there was making $5,000.
You think a guy like Bill Watts could be in today's WWE or not?
Nah, his time had come and gone with the way he did business. You can't be a bully anymore. You can't go in screaming and cursing at people because society has changed. The wrestlers have changed. There's a lot of women working there now. There's all this. There's tons
Lawsuits.
of this equal rights and lawsuits, and you know, yeah, you gotta really be careful now. WWE's gotten away with a lot of stuff that they probably shouldn't be able to get away with behind the scenes, locker room stuff. But I just don't know how you fix it. I don't know how you fix it.
Yeah, they're in the medical office.
Everyone's here that's on that list?
Yeah, I pretty much know.
Okay, yeah.
Address on.
Those are the
They're
cameramen. That's a camera crew.
Okay. Alright.
Okay. Let me see the lineup. First show is with them. First show is with. What's the name? Okay. I want to welcome everybody here to Wildwood tonight. Basically, our regular crew, they know who they are. J.R. Ryder, I think it's your first time down here for us. Welcome to Wildwood. Jojo, good to have you back from Dog Carnival. And of course, everybody just flew in, and I'm sure his arms are tired. The great Auntie Dunk Man. Wayne, good to
Just
have
got
you.
my clothes.
Just got my clothes.
Cameraman had them.
It's a real easy down here, basically. You know, it's basically all family. I don't have to go through it. No indications with the down by the crotch area. No cursing. Work the crowd. Have a lot of fun in the first show. First show, we're a little bit more lenient with time. Second show is going to be a little bit tighter. There will be no meeting for the second show. Second show is going to be a little bit tighter. But again, have some fun with the people in the first show. First show attendance is usually light. The second show is going to be usually a little bit heavier. Basically, ground rules for the locker room are we share the locker room with the lifeguard station down here. Please, after the lifeguards leave, basically, whatever litter you leave around, just throw it down into the garbage can. That's all I ask. There's ice cold waters in the freezer, refrigerator, the ice cube drawer, anything I missed. Basically, again, if you have family down here, they have to be out by the bleachers. They have a list down here of names. That's all we can ask for you. Guys, have a great show. RF Video, welcome down here tonight. Have a good time shooting. Let's have a great show. Just be comfortable. I got to get some radios. We're going to start a little bit after sunset.
Yes.
All right. Have a question, 7-Eleven bit.
Oh, I know, bro.
So we go with the rider. On the first bout, you're going to come out in the back of the lifeguard truck. All right? We're going to drop you right in front of the stands. You can work the crowd right from there. From the bleachers. Yeah, first bout. You'll come out to the back of the lifeguard truck. They drop you right in front of the ring.
Alright. Well,
Yeah, we're not even exchanging. I'll hit you once. Yeah,
Hardest
the
part
records, I'll
sometimes
hit
is
you once. You hit me, I hit you twice.
just getting dressed.
You hit me. The third one, you block me.
Sometimes the hardest part's getting undressed.
I'll reverse you.
But since this is independent, you know,
yeah.
I kind
Kick your knee. So just
do whatever I wanna do.
I'll wrap it on the rope.
Yep.
I'll kick
Come
outside
prepared.
the
Oh, yeah.
in case.
I'll wrap the knee and stuff like that. He's done it.
I'm on the road for 4 days. What are you talking about? Anyway,
Yeah, you have to get a couple more crosses off.
There's that break in between shows tonight. So.
sometimes the liquor stores are closed. Sometimes the beer stores are closed, especially up here on the East Coast. You go to Connecticut or Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, everything closes, so then you got to go to the bar.
We got the blue laws here
Yeah,
on Sundays.
So you always come prepared. You bring your own stuff. So I bring my stuff in my bag.
Food too.
My food, yeah. Of which the,
Just as long as it doesn't get locked in.
as long as it's not locked in the truck,
Yeah, I don't know who would do that.
cameraman, whoever the cameraman is,
He's fired.
he had my food. He was gone for an hour while he ate and had his food. Got a cold baked potato. Some ham and baby doo-doo roll up. And a couple hard-boiled eggs.
You find preparing your own food on the road is.
Something there, you know, just in case you don't get to eat. And then I got a little tequila with Gatorade here. No wonder it's hot in this building. And I watch these guys put this match together over here. Holy shit. If y'all do all that stuff, I won't even have to go out there.
I gotta fill 10 to 12. 10 to 12. 10 to 12.
Do you really? How much time you got up there for me?
You got 10 in each match.
Bullshit.
But I'm telling you what, Friday night you can have.
That includes the introduction too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Friday night you can have as long as you want.
Don't you
can
worry.
stay as long as the intro as you want. as long as
That's,
the
I like the long intro. Yes, sir. That's
And a
all.
half a mile ride to the
Yes,
ring.
because see what you got to understand is as soon as you make that announcement, I'm on the clock. As soon as I walk through that curtain, I'm on the clock. I had a guy in California one time. He booked me with a Tonga Kid. Remember the Tonga Kid?
Yeah.
Well, Tonga Kid weighs 500 pounds now, Samoan, right?
Does he?
Oh shit, yeah. Anyways, he got me booked with this 500-pound Samoan. So he tells me, he says, hey, it'd be great. Why don't you go out and sing your song at the beginning of the show, get them all fired up? I said, it don't really work that good, you know, if I go do it before the show. No, it'd be great. So I go out, I sing the song. That's about 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Come back, he says, go back out at intermission, do it again. I said, are you sure? Yeah. I said, well, you know, I'm going to be the good guy in this match. It might be better if we hold off on the song. No, go do it. I go back and do it again. Another 6 minutes. Well, that's 12 minutes where I came from. So then we go out with a match. He's got me in a match with this 500-pound Samoan. Match goes about 6 or 8 minutes. Come back, he says, now mind you, I sang the song again, so I sang it 3 times. That's another 6. That's 18. So we have a 6 or 8 minute match, and he says, holy shit, what the hell, you guys killed the town, man. The main event only went 6 minutes. I said, listen, I've been on the clock ever since I went out there the first time. I usually do 10 or 12 minutes. I gave you overtime tonight. And I said, besides, if I'd have been booking it, I wouldn't have booked me with that 600-pound Samoan.
Yeah.
So that's how it goes. It never stops.
Now, actually, you and JR Ryder tonight and again Friday night. So,
Oh, really?
yeah,
So I get a sneak preview
you
then.
get a sneak preview. So I get to see what my show's going to happen, right?
You might want to change that booking. So anyway, that's what we do.
Did you ever work Jake on the Indies?
Yeah, a lot of times. A lot of times.
How's he like in the ring? We know what he is outside the ring.
Jake's fine. I enjoy working with Jake.
Who's the one guy, like WWF back 80s guy, like that you had the hardest time working in the ring? That was just like uncooperative, or
It was Santana,
yeah.
Bret Hart sometimes.
What was Santana's deal?
He didn't like to get beat.
He wanted to shine.
He wanted to shine all the time. He wanted to get that big long 20-minute comeback. Sometimes he didn't want to do the job, you know.
Right.
It's like, oh man, have Jimmy Hart hit me with a megaphone and somebody hold my legs and then have somebody jump off the rafters on me.
He worked it.
I never one time complained that he gave me his flying burrito elbow. 1, 2, 3. I never said a word. I went out and did it. But when it come time, yeah, we got to get him over tonight because he's going to have a belt next month when he comes back. He's going to be on top. Oh, how can you have Jimmy Hart do this? Coco and Bret Hart sometimes.
What was
Same
Brett's
thing.
deal? Same thing?
Yeah, he just
They didn't like to get beat
didn't like
cleanly?
Nope. Nope, didn't like it at all. of all the times I put them all over, and they wouldn't put me over, Brett refused to put me over in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
TV or
Nope.
just a house show?
I was coming back the next month with a Warrior. He called Jack Lenz in the shower room, and they changed the finish. He wouldn't do it.
On a house show.
Yep. And I was coming back the next month as the main event with the Warrior, and he wouldn't do it. So
So those two are probably some of the most selfish guys, at least with you in the ring. you would say?
then here comes the Montreal. I'm leaving to go to Montreal. And we've been watching the shows and seeing all the stuff transpire. And about a month before Montreal, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels were at the Hartford Civic Center in the locker room.
Is that the hair pulling?
Down on the floor pulling each other's hair, fighting. So my wife tells me, she says, what do you think's going to happen in that match in Montreal? Think Brett's going to do the job? I said, absolutely not. Especially he's not going to do it for Shawn Michaels. And he didn't. Well, he did.
Time.
Kinda. But that's just how it goes. Pedro Morales, he was a little bit testy in the ring on me. He was toward the end of his career. He didn't want to put me over. What's the other one? He's an agent there now, Tony Gurria.
Mm-hmm.
He worked 2 matches on TV one night. He was scheduled for 3 matches. He went out in the first 2, he put guys over. 3rd match put up on the board for me against Tony Gurria. He looked at it, walked over to Strongbow, said something, got his bag and left. Tony Gurria walked out because he didn't want to put me over on TV. Maybe it was because he didn't want to do 3 jobs on TV, but he was finished.
Right.
He came back a year later as an agent. I'll never let him forget it. If I see him today, I'd tell him. Remember when you packed your bag when you saw he was working with me? But you know what? I don't give a shit, bro.
Who'd you travel
I
with
don't
back
need
then?
it. Jimmy Hart, all time.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Hebner, Earl Hebner.
Did they sell you any t-shirts?
Then Valentine.
No t-shirts?
For me, what, that's selling them?
Yeah.
No, they wouldn't sell. It's too bad because the bad guys, I'll let my hair grow long again. The bad guys don't get to sell merchandise.
No, I meant Hebner sell you any t-shirts.
Oh, no, I didn't hear what you said. Yeah. Ebner's selling t-shirts. Anyway,
So you think that the Hebner with the t-shirts is kind of like, you know, the WWE steroid policy? If they want to fail somebody, they'll fail them.
yeah, that was just, you know, there's more to it than that. There's always more to it than that. Getting a long tape ready here. Put this on my wrist in case I need it. Man, it's hot in here.
Yeah.
Anyway, you mentioned t-shirts. And my theory has always been this. Why should Austin or Hogan and them guys brag about how much merchandise they sold when the rest of us in the company, a lot of us, didn't have any merchandise to sell? They said bad guy merchandise just don't sell, so they didn't put any out. Well, that's fine, but it takes bad guys to make good guys look good. I always thought there should be some kind of a profit sharing. If Hogan sells $2 or $3 or $5 million worth of t-shirts or merchandise, and he gets $2 or $3 or $5 million for his own fat pocketbook, why couldn't you just take all that money, pool it together, and share the profits with everyone who worked for the company? You'd have had more happy employees, not so many guys that just turned out to be millionaires because they got all the merchandise money.
So we're here in a locker room setting. Back then, who was good Gatorade?
There you go, Jake.
So
For you.
who were some of the more difficult guys to like go over in a match with beforehand in the locker room? Who was the easiest guy to talk to?
There's a lot of easy guys. Some of them you didn't have to talk to. I never even, most of the time I never even talked to Jimmy Snuka. Never had to. Didn't have to talk to him. No need. If I had a match with Jake here tonight, I wouldn't have to see him. I wouldn't have to talk to him at all. They'd say, Jake's not here yet, but when he gets here, you guys 10, 12 minutes and, do what you guys want to do. So I wouldn't have to talk to him. Difficult people. I had to spend a lot of time going over things with Warrior because he'd get really nervous. But once we got it all worked out, he was okay. Savage, I had to go over the match. Thanks, Steamboat. I thank you very much for this. Someone did an interview with Steamboat not so long ago, and they said, oh, that WrestleMania 3 match you had with Macho Man was so good. It was fantastic. He said, I hated every minute of it because I had to go over the match a million times. When I got to work with Savage then, and I was with him for about 6 or 8 months, if we had the match this afternoon, maybe up in Atlantic City, we'd have to go over the match. And if we had a nighttime show at 8 o'clock tonight, over in Philadelphia or down in Baltimore, we'd have to go over the same match again. I don't get that. If I do the match with you this afternoon and we're going tonight and do the same match, I don't need to see you till we go in the ring. But I had to go over with it every night. Every night.
I think it's a lost art, calling the match in the ring.
Yeah. Nobody knows how to do it.
Who gave out when you had your IC title reign? Who gave out the finishes? What agent was there? Did you ever clash?
They were all different. Yeah.
Did you clash with anybody more than anybody else, or?
Not with the agents, no, because they were just errand boys.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. The finishes came from the office and were given to the agent the night of the show, the afternoon of the show. They wrote them down and came in and told you what the finish was going to be. Now there were agents who probably took it one step further than they should have because they had some leeway other than the exact finish as to how it should be set up or how you go into it. They had their little games they played too. I was in Miami one time, like twice or 3 times in a row, which is unheard of. Normally if you work say you're in Miami 1 month, you're not there the next month unless you're coming back with somebody else. I was there 3 times with Corporal Kirshner.
I met him in a Japanese elevator. It was the longest 30 seconds of my life.
On all 3 finishes, he was not a bad guy. He was getting jobbed out back then. On all 3 finishes, it was the Strongbow finish of dump him outside. I go outside, he's going to suplex me in, and Jimmy Hart pulls his legs, and I fall on top of him, and Jimmy holds his feet 1, 2, 3. We did that the first time. We come back the next month. Brilliant Strongbow, Einstein he was. He gave me the same finish. I said, you think we should maybe change that a little bit? We did that here last month. You try to cop attitude on me? Try to cop attitude? I said, no, Chief, it's just, we did that here last month. Just do what I say. Okay. I go out and I do it. Now we're back there for some odd reason, a 3rd time. Kirshner again, same finish. Suplex, pull a leg, hold. I didn't say anything about that one.
You're just getting paid.
Yeah, I didn't care at that point.
Fans say shit on it?
I probably didn't draw as well in Miami with the Intercontinental belt as I probably could have, maybe because of something like that.
Right.
You never know what their little motives are behind the things they do.
Was there any cities back then when you had the reign where you were babyface, more babyface reaction than he?
No, I never
others?
was. I never was.
It was always heel.
The only time I got my babyface reaction is here on the Independents now.
Right.
That's all. I was always heel. And that's the way it was set up. I kind of made sure it worked that way. What else would these agents do? That's the one thing I told McMahon when I started. I said, just, whatever the Stooges say about me, at least give me a chance to defend myself. And we were never given that opportunity. We were tried, convicted, and found guilty by the agents because they would go back at the agents meeting and they could say, hey, that man, he's a sorry piece of shit. He's horrible. I can't stand that fucking guy. He's doing this, he's doing that. You might not have done anything but walk in, get dressed, go out and do whatever they told you to do. But you don't know what they said about you in the agents' meetings. Johnny Valiant told me one time he got to be like, he sat in on these agents' meetings because he was doing TV commentary. He said, you wouldn't believe it. He said, you would not believe how long the dagger is in those agents' meetings and how deep they stick it in people. But yet you can't defend yourself. You can't go to McMahon and he says, I hear you've done this, this, and this. What? What?
A lot of the agents have their own agendas.
They got their own little agendas. They had their own little bullshit they did. Yeah.
Do you think back then when you had the reign, they didn't do it a lot, but do you think they could have capitalized on more heel versus heel matches? And would you have liked to have done that?
See, what I didn't understand, I don't think the heel versus heel was ever a good idea anyway. It's not that, unless you're going to determine who's the better heel, who's got the most heat, and then who's going to be the baby face at the end of it. We had one with the Freebirds one time in Louisville, Kentucky. Jerry Jarrett booked it that way. Because we were the Blonde Bombers and just come off the Tupelo concession
You and Dream Machine?
No, it was the Freebirds. It was
No, who was your partner?
Larry Latham.
Oh, Larry Latham. Okay.
And Jerry Jarrett booked us against the Freebirds, Gordy and Hayes, to see who's going to have the most heat, who's going to be the heels to carry on. We were just a tad bit smarter than Gordy was pretty smart. He'd been around a year longer than me and Larry, but Hayes was just starting in the business, so he didn't know. So as soon as they came to the ring, did their music, jumped over the top rope, and started doing their dancing and stuff, we dropped down in heel fashion and started begging, "Oh, please, please don't hit us!" So right away we were the heels,
Right.
and they were the baby face, and we got it. We killed them off right off the bat with that. But that was a case where we had to do it to survive because they begged. To me, that was bad booking. If you want these guys to be your top heels in the territory, let them be your top heels. Give us our notice and let us leave. But that's how they play those little games.
Did you enjoy working the Memphis territory?
Yeah, it was okay. That was tough.
Was the pay good back then,
It was
or
hard. No.
no?
You kidding me? You think Lawler and Jarrett's gonna pay anybody? They paid themselves. Oh, that's right. You didn't have $200,000 in a jukebox. Well, how would the broad have known that? I think you might have bragged about it to her. Hey, guess what, honey? I got $200,000 in cash in that jukebox over there. In a way, I don't believe there was any money in the jukebox simply because old Cat would have took it. She would have known it. And when she split, she would have got that dough if she had any brains.
Who was in Memphis? Who was like, did Jarrett do all the finishes, or how did that work? How was that structured?
Sometimes Jerry Jarrett would have the book, and he was the booker. He'd give the finishers. He'd send them out by his son-in-law. No, his father-in-law, Eddie Marlin. If it was a spot shows, then a guy named Buddy Wayne who ran the spot shows got the finishes from Jarrett. If Lawler was the booker, then Lawler would come and he'd give you the finishes, or Eddie Marlin would give it to you through Lawler, or same facility.
Like in the heyday, the early 80s.
There was only two bookers I worked for there. Those two guys on the territory, and they did all the booking.
Right.
Eventually, other people got it.